My mother-in-law tried to ruin me. She didn't know I was recording. Welcome, this is Voice of Deborah and I share true life stories. I never thought the woman who raised my husband would be the one to destroy me. The day I married William, his mother whispered something in my ear during our first dance. "You're not good enough for my son," she said, smiling for the cameras. "But don't worry. I'll make sure everyone knows it eventually." I laughed it off. Thought she was joking. She wasn't. For 3 years, I endured the passive-aggressive comments, the accidental exclusions from family events, the constant comparisons to William's ex-girlfriend. But I stayed quiet, smiled. I played the perfect daughter-in-law because I loved my husband, and I wanted peace. Then my father died. He left me everything. His house, his savings, his small but successful printing business. It wasn't a fortune, but it was enough to change our lives. William and I could finally buy our dream home, maybe start a family. For the first time in years, I felt like I could breathe. Anne's face at the funeral told me everything I needed to know. 2 weeks later, she invited me to lunch. Just the two of us. "I want to clear the air," she said over the phone. "I know I haven't been the warmest mother-in-law. And with your loss, think we should talk." Woman to woman. I wanted to believe her. God, I wanted to believe her. We met at her favorite restaurant, the kind of place with white tablecloths and waiters who refill your water before you ask. And ordered wine. She talked about her own mother, about loss, about how grief changes people. It seemed human, vulnerable even. "I have a proposition," she said, dabbing her lips with her napkin. "William mentioned you inherited your father's business." My stomach tightened. "I know someone who wants to buy it," she continued. "A colleague of mine. He's offering well above market value. You could sell, take the money, and never worry about managing something you don't understand." "I understand it perfectly," I said. "I worked there every summer since I was 16. "Of course, sweetheart." Her smile didn't reach her eyes. "But think about it. Your father would want you to be taken care of, not stressed." I told her I'd think about it. But something felt wrong. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying the conversation, the way her eyes lit up when she mentioned the buyer, the way she emphasized how complicated running a business could be. At 3 a.m., I did something I'm not proud of. I checked William's phone. What I found made my blood run cold. Text messages. Dozens of them. Between William and his mother. About me. About my inheritance. About how to handle me. And she won't sell willingly. You need to convince her the business is failing. William, I can't lie to her like that. And you won't have to lie if it's true. Have a plan. My hands shook as I scrolled. And once she signs over power of attorney temporarily to deal with the business stress, we can make the necessary moves. My lawyer friend can help with the paperwork. She'll never see it coming. William, Mom, this feels wrong. And, do you want that woman controlling your future? That money should be yours. You're my son. She's just someone who happened to marry you. I ran to the bathroom and threw up. The man I married, the man who promised to love and protect me, was plotting with his mother to steal my inheritance. But it was worse than that. As I read further, I realized they weren't just planning to convince me to sell. They were planning to have me declared mentally unfit to manage my own affairs. And had already contacted a psychiatrist friend. She'd been documenting my erratic behavior since my father's death. Crying at his funeral was emotional instability. Taking a week off work was inability to cope. Selling his vintage car because it hurt too much to see it was impulsive decision-making. She was building a case to have me declared incompetent. But what William said next changed everything. William, what if she finds out? And she won't. And if she does, who's going to believe her? I'm a respected family therapist. You're her husband. She's a grieving daughter making accusations. We have documentation. We have witnesses. I've already talked to your sister and your aunt. They'll testify she's been acting strange. And, besides, once we have control of her assets, it won't matter what she believes. I sat on that cold bathroom floor until sunrise, reading and rereading those messages. Part of me wanted to confront William immediately, to scream and rage and demand answers. But something stopped me. If I confronted him now, they'd just deny everything, change their plan, maybe even accelerate it. I needed proof. Real proof. The kind that couldn't be dismissed or explained away. So I went to work. I showed up to that lunch and had scheduled with her buyer friend. Smiled. Asked questions. And I recorded every word on the voice recorder app I'd hidden in my purse. The buyer was real enough. Anne's cousin, it turned out. He offered me $200,000 for a business worth at least $500,000. When I hesitated and jumped in. Honey, I know it seems low, but the industry is changing. Print is dying. My cousin is doing you a favor, really. Taking this burden off your hands. Your father would want you to be smart about this, the cousin added, reading from a script and had clearly written. Not emotional. I recorded it all. Every lie. Every manipulation. Then I did something that surprised even me. Said yes. I'll sell, I told them. But I need a week to get my affairs in order. Talk to my accountant, that sort of thing. Anne's face lit up like Christmas morning. Of course, darling. Take all the time you need. We'll have the papers drawn up. That week, I worked faster than I've ever worked in my life. I contacted a lawyer. Not anyone William or Anne knew, but someone 3 towns over that a friend from college recommended. I showed him everything. The text messages, the recordings, the documents, and had filed with her psychiatrist friend describing my alleged mental breakdown. This is conspiracy to commit fraud, he said, his face grim. Possibly elder abuse statutes too, depending on how the judge sees it. They're trying to steal your inheritance through legal manipulation. Can we stop them? Yes. His smile was sharp. Oh, we can do better than that. What happened next no one expected. The day of the signing, I showed up at Anne's lawyer's office with my own attorney. William was already there, looking nervous. Anne was practically glowing. Her lawyer had papers spread across his mahogany desk. Before we begin, my lawyer said, I need to inform you that my client has been recording all conversations regarding this transaction. We have evidence of fraud, conspiracy, and attempted financial exploitation. The color drained from Anne's face. What are you talking about? William said, standing up. Babe, what's going on? Sit down, William, I said quietly. My voice didn't shake. I'd practiced this moment in my mirror 100 times. I know everything. Text. The plan to have me declared incompetent. The fake buyer. All of it. Anne's lawyer looked at his client. Mrs. Patterson, what is she talking about? I nodded to my attorney. He placed a tablet on the desk and pressed play. Anne's voice filled the room. Asterisk, once we have control of her assets, it won't matter what she believes. Asterisk. The meeting ended with Anne's lawyer threatening to report her to the state bar. William sat frozen, staring at his hands. And me. I walked out of that office with my inheritance intact and divorce papers being filed by end of business. But I wasn't done. The recording I'd made at the restaurant with Anne and her cousin was given to the district attorney's office. While they ultimately decided not to press criminal charges due to the difficulty of proving intent, the state licensing board took a very different view of a family therapist using her credentials to build a fraudulent incompetency case. And lost her license 6 months later. William tried to apologize. He showed up at my door a dozen times, sent flowers, wrote letters. She's my mother, he kept saying. She convinced me you'd be better off. That we'd be better off. I never wanted to hurt you. But you did, I told him the last time I answered the door. You chose her over me. You chose money over your vows. And the worst part. You thought I was too stupid to figure it out. The divorce was finalized on what would have been our 4th anniversary. Here's what they didn't know about me. What Anne never bothered to learn in 3 years of treating me like an obstacle. My father taught me to trust my instincts. He taught me that family isn't always about blood. And he taught me to document everything, Because he'd built his business during a time when a handshake meant nothing without a contract to back it up. Those lessons saved me. I still run my father's printing business. It's thriving, actually. Turns out, print isn't dying, it's evolving. And I was smart enough to evolve with it. I remarried last year. His name is James, and his mother sent me a birthday card before she even met me. That's how I knew. Sometimes I wonder what Anne thinks about when she's alone. Does she regret it? Does she understand what she lost? Not just her license but her son. William and I don't speak, but I heard through mutual friends that he doesn't talk to his mother anymore either. She cost him everything trying to get everything. If you're watching this and something feels wrong in your relationship with family, with a spouse, with anyone, trust that feeling. You're not crazy. You're not paranoid. Your instincts are trying to protect you. Document everything. Save those texts. Record those conversations where legally allowed. Protect yourself because sometimes the people who are supposed to love you the most are the ones planning your downfall. And to anyone out there dealing with a toxic mother-in-law or a betraying spouse, you are stronger than you think. You are smarter than they give you credit for. And you deserve so much better than someone who sees you as an obstacle to overcome. If this story resonated with you, please subscribe. Share your own experiences in the comments. You're not alone. Sometimes the family we choose is better than the family we're given. And remember, always trust your gut. Always.